The first spark of chaos began with a single blurry paparazzi photo. Dakota Johnson walking alone, head down, sunglasses covering half her face. There was nothing unusual about the image at first glance, yet the internet instantly decided it meant something more. "Where's Chris?" fans demanded. "Why is she alone? Why does she look stressed?" Within hours, the picture spread like wildfire, igniting whispers that quickly grew into a full-blown rumor. Dakota Johnson and Chris Martin had broken up. What made everything worse was the timing. Dakota had just completed a promotional event for her latest project, and fans noticed something unusual: no mention of Chris anywhere. Interviewers asked about her film, her future plans, her growth as an artist, but not a single question about her relationship. And Dakota, who often kept her personal life private, didn't bring him up either. For some fans, her silence felt like confirmation. Then came the second clue, and it was even harder to ignore. Chris Martin was noticeably absent from an event that he usually never missed, a milestone screening featuring Dakota in one of her most emotionally demanding roles yet. Cameras scanned the audience, searching for him. Journalists whispered. Fan pages posted updates in real time. "Chris isn't here. Something's wrong." Even though he had a busy touring schedule, people refused to accept such a simple explanation. The speculation grew heavier when a gossip account on Twitter posted, "Sources say Dakota and Chris haven't been seen together in weeks." No name, no source, no evidence, but the internet rarely needs evidence to believe a narrative it finds exciting. Fans began digging through recent photos, comparing Dakota's outfits, zooming into her expressions, trying to find signs of heartbreak. It became a worldwide investigation built entirely on interpretation. Soon, older clips of the couple resurfaced, moments of affection, quiet smiles, handholding during concerts, Dakota dancing in the sound booth while Chris performed. Fans compared the past to the present, convinced something had shifted. "She doesn't glow the same," one commenter wrote. "He seems distant lately," another insisted. It didn't matter that none of these observations were grounded in reality. The story had already taken on a life of its own. Then, tabloids jumped in, and everything escalated beyond control. One magazine declared they were living separate lives. Another claimed Chris had moved into a different property to focus on music. A third insisted the couple had quietly agreed to take time apart. All of it was speculation disguised as news, feeding the frenzy and turning whispers into headlines. Fans who once admired their mature, private love story now feared it had come to an end. The internet split into two camps. One side believed the breakup rumors wholeheartedly, pointing to every new photo or interview as proof. The other camp defended Dakota and Chris, arguing that adults don't owe the world constant reassurance or public displays. The debates were intense. YouTube commentary channels, TikTok theories, Reddit analyses, all exploding with emotion. Dakota and Chris became the center of a storm they had never asked for. And then, the drama reached its peak when Dakota attended a high-profile event and a bold reporter asked her directly, "Are you and Chris Martin still together?" The room froze. Dakota paused for a moment, just long enough to make the internet lose its mind. She gave a polite smile, thanked the reporter, but moved on without addressing the question. That half-second pause was clipped, reposted, slowed down, over-analyzed. To many, it was the final piece of evidence they needed. Meanwhile, Chris made a move that fueled the fire even more. Fans noticed he had posted something cryptic on Instagram, a photo of a sunset with the caption, "Some days are heavier than others." It wasn't dramatic, it wasn't specific, but people connected it to Dakota instantly. Comments flooded the post. Speculation intensified. Commentators claimed Chris was hinting at heartbreak. Others said he was processing change. The truth was simple. No one knew anything. But the internet didn't slow down, it only grew louder. By this point, both Dakota and Chris had been pushed into a corner they never intended to occupy. Fan concern turned into panic. Rumors twisted into narratives. Everyone waited, desperately, for one of them to break the silence. Something had to give, something had to be said. And soon, it would be. because both Dakota Johnson and Chris Martin were finally ready to speak for themselves. Their answer would crush the rumors completely. But for now, the world held its breath, suspended in uncertainty. When Dakota Johnson finally stepped in front of the cameras again, the tension in the air was unmistakable. Reporters stood shoulder to shoulder, waiting for the first hint of clarity after weeks of speculation. Fans watching from around the world felt the same nervous anticipation, wondering whether she would confirm their worst fears or set the record straight once and for all. Dakota looked calm, elegant, and unexpectedly warm, like someone ready to stop running from a story that never truly belonged to her. The moment a journalist asked the inevitable question, "Dakota, are the breakup rumors true?" she didn't freeze or deflect. Instead, she let out a soft laugh, the kind of laugh that instantly shifted the mood in the room. "No," she said, her voice steady. "We're happy. Really, genuinely happy." It was simple, direct, unshakably confident, and in that instant, the storm that had consumed the internet began to crumble. Dakota didn't stop there. She continued, knowing the world deserved more than 3 words after weeks of chaos. "The thing about being in the public eye," she explained, "is that people try to read into everything. A photograph, a schedule conflict, a moment of privacy. But real relationships aren't lived on social media or in headlines." Her tone wasn't defensive. It was mature, affectionate, even protective. She spoke about the challenges of maintaining a private life when millions of eyes try to decode every breath. "Chris and I decided a long time ago that our love would be quiet," she said. "Not hidden, but ours." Those words struck a chord with fans everywhere. It wasn't a dramatic declaration or a performative defense. It was a reminder that intimacy doesn't have to be loud to be real. A few hours later, Chris Martin delivered his own message, and it was even more heartfelt. He appeared in a casual interview setting, guitar resting on his lap, looking relaxed but thoughtful. When asked about the rumors, he shook his head with a warm smile. "I don't know where those stories came from," he said. "But Dakota is one of the brightest parts of my life. She makes everything better." His voice softened. "We're happy. That's the truth." Fans lost their minds. Clip after clip went viral. Reaction videos filled TikTok, people crying, cheering, laughing at how easily the truth crushed weeks of speculation. One user wrote, "I haven't even fully recovered from Dakota speaking out and now Chris is out here writing poetry." Another said, "They're the healthiest romantic couple in Hollywood and people still try to break them up." But Chris wasn't done. In the same interview, he added a sentence that sent shockwaves across the internet. "Relationships aren't perfect," he admitted. "But we choose each other. And that's what matters." That single line became the headline of the day. Not the breakup rumors, not the drama, but the commitment behind their love. A refreshing contrast to the sensationalism usually surrounding celebrity couples. Dakota later posted a rare photo on Instagram. A candid shot of the two of them laughing together during a walk on the beach. No filters, no stylization, just real happiness. Her caption was 3 simple words: "Still here. Always." Within minutes, millions of fans liked the post, commenting hearts, relief, and jokes about how tabloids would now have to sit down and drink water. Even the media had to key Z. Outlets issued new stories clarifying the couple's statements. Headlines shifted from "Trouble in Paradise" to "Dakota Chris shut down rumors with sweet messages." Experts in celebrity culture praised them for handling the scandal with grace instead of theatrics. Their honesty didn't just clean the air, it changed the tone of the entire conversation. But the most moving reactions came from fans who saw their own relationships reflected in Dakota and Chris's story. People wrote long posts about privacy, communication, and the pressure of public misunderstanding. Many said they admired Dakota's calm strength and Chris's gentle affection. The couple inadvertently became a symbol of quiet, enduring love, something rare in Hollywood's high-drama landscape. Still, some couldn't help but speculate about the final hint Dakota left during a separate interview. When asked what was next for her and Chris, she smiled in a way that suggested more than she was willing to reveal publicly. "We're growing," she said. And sometimes, growth leads to beautiful things. Fans immediately jumped to conclusions. Engagement, marriage, a new chapter. Whether that's true or not remains a mystery, but one thing is certain. Dakota Johnson and Chris Martin crushed the breakup rumors with the kind of calm, grounded love story Hollywood never expected. And as fans replayed their statements over and over, one truth echoed louder than all the gossip put together. They weren't falling apart. They were standing stronger than ever.